Next on Stampede TV, Bill Greer riding on a buffalo.
Milligan's latest theatrical performance.
The memories of Milligan's alumni.
And we'll take you behind the scenes to the making of a book on Milligan's history.
These stories and all of the homecoming action are next when this special edition of Stampede TV begins now.
We have just concluded a fun and exciting start to Milligan's sesquicentennial celebration.
Welcome to this special homecoming edition of Stampede TV. I'm Jacob Smith.
And I'm Alyssa Boyer. We begin our extensive homecoming coverage with Saturday's parade. Stampede TV's Jackie Snyder has more.
Alumni, students, and faculty lined up on Blowers Boulevard for this year's homecoming parade, excited to see what surprises will be going down the street.
Well, we're here for our 20-year reunion, which I cannot believe it's been 20 years since we graduated and since we're seeing these parades on campus. I know there's some really cool things coming today because I hear the president might be riding a buffalo, and we're excited to see that. We certainly didn't see anything like that.
Our very own president, Bill Greer, came riding down the street on Cody the buffalo, waving and smiling to all.
Hello, I've never been at the parade, and I'm really excited to see the president riding the buffalo. And you guys might see me on the newspaper.
Many clubs were involved in the parade, such as the Milligan College Radio, our Milligan dance team, science buffs, and the cheerleaders, as well as many more.
It's just wonderful to see the tradition of Christian education being carried on, and we're just grateful to be here and enjoy the beautiful weather.
This year's homecoming parade was quite a surprise. Let's see what next year's will look like. I'm Jackie Snyder, reporting for Stampede TV.
The highlight of this year's parade was definitely Bill Greer riding a live buffalo.
Brent Doolittle has the details on how a group of students brought Milligan's mascot, Brutus the Buffalo, to life.
This year marks Milligan's 150th year of operation. That's right, 150 years. A century and a half of educating men and women to be servant leaders. Now it's time for our annual homecoming weekend, but this time, for our special occasion, Milligan is doing something, well, extra special. We are going to bring a mascot to life.
I'm excited. I'm ready.
My name is John Stedman. I'm the Senior Coordinator of the Buffalo Project.
That's right. For our sesquicentennial celebration, we brought a living, breathing buffalo right here to campus.
Buffalo Project, it's a student-led organization to bring a live buffalo to campus for homecoming.
We come from Houston, Minnesota.
It's 1,000 miles, so it's 2 days, 18 to 20 hours.
We do a lot of events and movies, commercials with him.
The idea started back in May. I had the idea of getting our president, President Greer, to ride the buffalo in the homecoming parade. The cabinet loved it and they were all about it, and so we were able to move forward, yeah. The total cost for the rental was $36.50. The college picked up $18.50, and they asked the student body to come up with another $1,800. We wanted to do something, since it's a totally student-led effort to bring the buffalo here, we wanted to do something that didn't feel like a fundraiser, that was actually a fundraiser. So we got the t-shirts made up. We made them for $5 and sold them for $10. So it was a way to raise money and raise awareness about what we were doing here with the buffalo.
All in all, the Buffalo Project was a successful celebration of our 150th anniversary. This is Brent Doolittle reporting for Stampede TV.
Were you able to get a picture with the buffalo while it was on campus?
Yeah, actually the swim team got to take a group picture.
People gathered on Derthick Lawn following the parade for activities suited for all ages. Kids enjoyed an inflatable bounce house as well as balloon animals that could be made into a hat, animal, or other various shapes. Kids waited in line in anticipation for their turn to have their face painted and to enjoy some fresh popcorn. The sound of laughter and a small train filled the air as alumni, parents, and friends came together for fellowship while enjoying some family-friendly activities, all of which were a big hit among all the kids.
Like get my face painted and like do all kinds of fun activities. It was very fun.
A unique feature to homecoming this year was the faculty art exhibit entitled Nature, Robots, and Elvis. The exhibit featured works by Art Brown, Nick Blosser, and Alice Anthony. Visitors had the opportunity to view original paintings, sculptures, photography, and printmaking at the opening reception on October 24th in the Derthick Art Gallery.
The first actual robot character was this one over here, the eavesdropper, and I'd really just been trying to sketch out. At the time I was thinking about the issue back in 2013 of the NSA spying on people's emails and things like that. And so I was trying to come up with a monster or creature that could represent that, and ended up, after a lot of sketching, building this piece. And after it worked out well, I started building others.
Thousands and thousands of fans come to Graceland and to pay homage to Elvis. Once I stepped into that, I realized, wow, what a photo opportunity. And so I began to photograph and talk to the many Elvis fans that came there.
Every time you walk out into the woods, it's always changing, or your attention to things that you may not have looked at before is always changing, and I think it's also just a very mysterious kind of world. Normally what I paint doesn't include a lot of man-made structures and so forth, and it has kind of a timeless quality that way, so you can't kind of lock it into a particular period or date.
You can still see Nature, Robots, and Elvis in the Derthick Art Gallery through November 20th.
Earlier, we told you about a project that brought a live buffalo to the Milligan campus.
But that wasn't the only buffalo around. Noah Parker has the details on the Buffalo Art Project.
It's homecoming at Milligan, and the Buffaloes are back in Tennessee, but not the kind you may be thinking of. For the Milligan Stampede City Art Project, 6 artistic fiberglass buffaloes have been placed around Johnson City, where they will remain for 6 months before they are moved to Elizabethton.
This particular project is aimed toward our community in Northeast Tennessee.
Beth Anderson, one of the leaders behind this project, wanted Milligan's 150-year celebration to reflect the college's outreach and service in the community, all while displaying the college's beloved mascot.
We placed our first one today at First Christian Church in Johnson City on Mountcastle Drive, and the other ones are going to be located at the mall in Johnson City. One is going to be in front of the Niswonger Children's Hospital here in Johnson City. One will be at Tupelo Honey, and one will be at the Johnson City Public Library. We really wanted to do something special to show the community that Milligan is here. We're a big part of the community, and this is a way to symbolize Milligan's commitment to the community and helping beautify and strengthen that relationship between us.
Milligan professor Nick Blosser, who painted the buffalo abstraction over American bison, sees this project as a different form of outreach.
So I guess, I think it's a fine thing to do, especially if they're done interestingly enough and they're done by artists, and they're trying to do as strong of a job as they can. Then you end up getting more art into the city, and more art's good.
However you look at these new monuments, it's clear that the community is a big focus for Milligan, and so is the campus itself, which will always warmly welcome students home after their outreach with a buffalo of its own. When it hasn't been stolen, that is. This has been Noah Parker reporting for Stampede TV.
That stolen buffalo was found inside Hopwood Church.
It is now back in its original location with new, much larger bolts.
You can find out more online at milliganstampede.com.
Next on Stampede TV, we'll have the details on the theater department's latest production that included some faculty members.
Plus, a concert celebrating Milligan's best musical talent. And later, we'll take you behind the scenes of the making of a coffee table book celebrating the sesquicentennial.
It's all coming up next when this special homecoming edition of Stampede TV continues. Stampede TV is covering the stories that matter to you, covering great new things.
The labs in the science building were renovated.
Covering your accomplishments.
Winning the first national championship in Milligan history.
Covering tragedies.
A longboarder collided with a vehicle.
Covering fun.
But with a carnival theme, all these bright colors to work with.
Covering the stories that matter.
And that just really impacted me, that fifth grader with one of our shoes.
The stories that connect us together.
We're Stampede TV, Milligan's student-operated news source. Milligan's theater department also played an important role in the homecoming festivities.
Students, faculty, and alumni gathered in the Gregory Center to see the production of Our Town.
Stampede TV's Harper Severance went behind the scenes to bring us more.
The Gregory Center was a place of gathering during homecoming. The theater brought the playwright Our Town to life. I got a chance to sit with director Dick Major to hear why the theater chose this show to bring to the community during the big celebration.
This play by Thornton Wilder is a play that is so analogous to the place where we live and work, Milligan College. And since we are kicking off the celebration of our sesquicentennial at this year's homecoming, I wanted to find a play that would resonate with not only the actors and technicians, but also the audience who will see this play. I couldn't think of a better play than this one to help kick off that sesquicentennial.
With the help of current students, recent alum, professors, and a few elementary students from Milligan families, this production was a success.
I've had the opportunity to work with some lifelong friends of mine, Gary Smith, Paul Blowers, Tim Dillon, Jim Dolman. These are all people that I knew from my Milligan experience when I was a student.
6 great shows filled the Gregory Theater with students, staff, alum, and families. Our town brought a wide range of emotions, from laughter to tears. The Milligan community gives thanks to the cast and crew for all their hard work they put into this production. This has been Harper Severance reporting for Stampede TV.
The students and faculty really did a great job in that play.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Milligan students dusted off their dancing shoes Friday night at Dance Through the Ages held on Mary Sword Commons. Dance instructors Darian and Tiffany Chancellor spent the evening teaching students dances like the waltz, tango, and swing.
Tonight we're just doing a quick introduction of a lot of the major dances that if you were in a ballroom atmosphere that you would find. Dances like...
We're doing waltz, which is one of the old classics. We're also doing swing, which you can use at weddings and out on the town. We're going to do some salsa, which is a Latin dance, and maybe some tango and rumba. It just depends on how much time we have. But those are usually favorites, and they're versatile. You can use them not just in a ballroom.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But out on the town, yeah.
I was really interested at the idea of being able to learn different styles of dance. I wasn't sure what kind of styles. I don't know if it was ballroom or more contemporary style. Overall, I was really happy with what I ended up learning, and so I was just hoping to learn something new and maybe use it in the future.
I thought it was a great event for our homecoming celebration. I wish maybe more people had come, but it ended up turning out to be about the right size, according to Darian and Tiffany, of how you can focus on each individual as they dance. So, honestly, I won't be here next homecoming. Well, unless I come back as an alumni, but if they were here, I'd probably come dance again.
The event was an enjoyable evening for the students in attendance.
The P.H. Welshamer Library joined in the sesquicentennial festivities with the 3rd annual Book Plus Art exhibit. The exhibit featured student and faculty art projects that were made using old books. The theme could be anything from literature to history to even anatomy. We spoke with Ann Osborne to learn more.
This year, this is the 3rd annual Book Plus Art. And for those of you who have never been a part of Book Plus Art, it's an opportunity to take a book like this one and make a work of art out of it. So you can imagine books as art. Works of art can be as simple as folding the pages of a book into a particular animal, shape, or special memory that you might have.
The exhibit is in the library from October 24th until October 31st.
Milligan's music department put on a concert over the homecoming weekend.
Stampede TV's Becca Guthrie has more.
Alumni, students, and parents filled Secret Chapel on Saturday to watch the annual homecoming concert. The Milligan Music Department presented a short, family-friendly concert that featured a mix of bluegrass, gospel, and folk music.
We do a homecoming concert every year, and every year it just has a different theme. And so this year with the kickoff of the 150th, I was thinking a great way to celebrate that was to think about the history of Appalachian music.
Before the concert, a slideshow was presented of the history of music at Milligan from the 1800s until 2015. The concert featured the Milligan Orchestra, Women's Chorale, Milligan Concert Choir, Heritage, Herd Mentality, and a jazz combo. A few of the songs in the show were Buffalo Gals and Rocky Top.
We started back in August when school started, at least rehearsing. We've been picking music and planning the concert since back in the spring. The faculty have. The students have been practicing this since they got here in August.
This has been Becca Guthrie reporting for Stampede TV.
The concert looked cool. It was a cool way to celebrate the Appalachian heritage around here. Next on Stampede TV, a run and walk event raises money for a good cause.
A special dedication recognizes the service of a former faculty member.
And later, the inside story on Milligan's commemorative book. There's more to come on this homecoming edition of Stampede TV. Stay tuned.
Can't find something to listen to on the radio? Well, check out 90.5 WUMC Milligan College Radio. With student-produced shows airing each night, there is something for everyone. The best mix of music along with talk shows about everything Milligan. For a complete list of show times or to listen live, visit us online at milliganradio.com. We're your radio station, 90.5 WUMC.
It's always interesting to talk to Milligan alumni about their experiences.
Stampede TV's Haley Cox had the opportunity to do just that by visiting the Vintage Buffs 50th reunion. I talked with graduates from the class of 1965 at Emmanuel Christian Seminary about their time here at Milligan and what they love most about their time spent.
Friday, the Vintage Buff event took place. You become vintage once you hit your 50th year reunion. I caught up with some of these graduates on their thoughts about Milligan.
Small school at that time. We had maybe 350 students total. So it's grown a good bit since then. There was a real sense of community, of family almost.
In 1965, Milligan College was a much different campus on the outside, but on the inside, the love of community and friendships were still there.
Part of it was meeting my husband here, and we had some fun times saying, I think he wrote my yearbook, we'll never meet again. And then 6 years later, we got married after graduation, and your most memorable?
I won't mention the most memorable, but anyway, one of the things that was refreshing in my mind was going up to Prayer Hill tobogganing. There were almost too many to remember. Everything was rememberable.
Right, just a lot of good times and good times with friends. Like I said, lifelong friends that, even though you haven't seen each other for so long, you kind of pick up where you left off, and just seeing some of your professors in other places, and they just really cared, I think.
One more.
All right, one more right here.
This has been Haley Cox reporting for Stampede TV.
That was such a cute video.
Yeah, you look like you had a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was cool to hear the stories from people who graduated in 1965, and I hope I have memories to tell like that later on.
The sesquicentennial homecoming celebration kicked off early Saturday morning for the Buffaloes. The Buffalo 5K is held as a fundraising event by the Associated Ladies for Milligan.
Milligan Buffalo is each Saturday of homecoming, and it starts in the morning. It's one of the very first events to kick off homecoming. It starts at 9 a.m., starts up at the field house, and a few years ago we redid our route, and it's a certified route, and we redid the route so that we could incorporate the new part of campus, Milligan Village, and so the entire route is on Milligan's campus.
The 5K doesn't only try to involve students, professors, and alumni in the event, but it also helps bring scholarships to women at Milligan College. It also represents the long-standing history of the Associated Ladies of Milligan.
Milligan Buffalo 5K started about 13 years ago by our former First Lady, Clorinda Jeans, and it was created to be one of our primary means of raising money for scholarships. And those scholarship dollars we use to be able to fund scholarships for young women who attend Milligan.
Associated Ladies of Milligan plan to host the event during homecoming again next year.
Even before the weekend began, there were many events to celebrate homecoming. Milligan Student Government Association held events each night leading up to homecoming weekend. Events included Apple Fest, where students played games and ate homemade caramel apples, coffee on the commons, and a nacho bar, s'mores, and viewing of Back to the Future 2.
I enjoy seeing like freshmen and sophomores. I'm a senior. Living in the village, you don't do that as much. So when there's things to bring everybody together, it's kind of fun.
A game of Capture the Flag was also planned, but it was canceled due to low turnout.
A small crowd gathered together Friday to witness the dedication of the terrace in front of Emmanuel Christian Seminary. The terrace is now called the Wetzel Terrace in honor of Dr. Bob Wetzel, who has served both Emmanuel and Milligan for over 40 years. Wetzel has served in a variety of positions at the two schools since the 1960s.
We've been here over 50 years now. East Tennessee is our home. Milligan College and Emmanuel has been our life, and it's just very gratifying to be a part of this occasion today.
A plaque was installed at the terrace to recognize Wetzel's service. Another event this weekend included a talk given Saturday afternoon by Francis Gary Powers Jr. Powers is the son of the U-2 pilot shot down over the Soviet Union. A movie has just been released about the incident. Tune in to Stampede TV next Friday, November 6th for my full report on the movie. Next on Stampede TV, we'll have a recap of this weekend's games in Stampede Sports.
And later, we'll take a look inside the making of a book all about Milligan. More of this homecoming edition of Stampede TV is coming up. Stay tuned. Weekend was packed with games and sporting events.
One of those traditional events is the Student versus Alumni Games. I went to those games and have this report. One of the things that students look forward to in Milligan's homecoming events are the Alumni Games. Students get a chance to test their skills against the Buffaloes of the past. It's something that both the athletes and the fans can look forward to.
It was a lot of fun seeing all the older alumni out there and all the students. We had a lot of people out there, and it was kind of nice to see everyone participate in all the homecoming events.
On Friday night, Milligan's varsity basketball team competed against some of the alumni who have played here in recent years. The students were pushed hard by the older players, but managed to come away with an overtime win.
The alumni game was a lot of fun. It was cool to get to see all the people that used to play against the people that still play now, and that they were still as good as the youngsters that are playing here.
Saturday morning, all students were invited to play in the alumni versus student flag football game. There was a huge turnout by the students, but the alumni managed to win the game.
Apparently from like last year, everybody was saying there was only like 10 students out there, and we had almost 50. So we had a lot of people wanting to come out and participate, which is a nice thing to see.
This has been Jacob Smith reporting for Milligan Stampede.
Saturday night, the underclassmen and upperclassmen went head-to-head in the annual Powder Puff football game. Students and alumni met up at England Field at 8:30 p.m. to watch the popular game where the female students become the football players and the male students become the cheerleaders. I heard from a few participants before the game started.
Powder Puff is definitely all about the spirit and being there for one another and cheering each other on. I just love the camaraderie between the freshman class here.
I love Powder Puff because it gives me a chance to be tough, and it's a really good stress reliever.
I'm really excited for Powder Puff because I'm just ready to be a little ridiculous and have some fun. I think it's gonna be a good night.
I really enjoy embarrassing myself in front of my classmates. It's a great way to relieve stress, you know? I'm cheering, and if I'm cheering, then they're gonna win.
I love Powder Puff because I never got the chance to do it in high school, so I finally got my chance, and I'm really excited to take on the upperclassmen.
I think it should be pretty big. A lot of people came to the soccer game, and I think a lot of people are looking forward to the Powder Puff game.
I think that the underclassmen are going to dominate, hopefully.
Underclassmen are definitely going to dominate tonight.
The underclassmen did in fact take home the victory. It was the first time in 20 years that the underclassmen beat the upperclassmen.
Now we take a look at the highlights from the other games this week.
Do that. The ordinary is in his national. Before I graduate, it's right. I'm saving everything. We gotta make sure it's all
After the break, we'll take you to the making of a new coffee table book that is all about Milligan. But first, here are the scores from this week's games.
Welcome back.
Stampede TV's Caleb Perney joins us now with a look at what's coming up on our next show. Caleb?
Thanks, Jacob and Alyssa. After the school shootings in Oregon, we wanted to know what Milligan students and faculty should do in the event of a school shooting here on campus. We'll talk to Milligan administration to provide you with the information that you need to stay safe. And major changes are coming to graduation here at Milligan. We'll outline the details for you, and we'll talk to students to find out how they feel about the issue. That's all coming up on the next Stampede TV on Friday, November 6th. Jacob, Alyssa?
Thanks, Caleb. To celebrate 150 years of history, a few staff members have been hard at work on a memoir looking back on Milligan's past.
Stampede TV's Daniel Peacock went behind the scenes of the making of the new book.
Milligan has changed a lot in the last 150 years. To remind everyone of these dramatic changes and to proudly display the history of the college, the 150-year celebration coffee table book was created. Clint Holloway was the author of the project, Dr. Lee Fairball the producer, and Art Brown the designer.
And started working on it, gosh, a couple years ago at least, when we started talking about it, and then this past year really dug into it.
Yeah, I proposed a couple of different scenarios in different books, and ultimately we chose to go with the coffee table history book, and lots of graphics, lots of pictures, bright, so it really pops.
The book itself traces Milligan's progress from its founding all the way to the present day.
And just some really phenomenal stories of people who made amazing sacrifices for both Milligan and made enormous contributions to the faith and to the Lord's kingdom. And so those were the things that really stood out, were the people who just are phenomenal.
The book is available for purchase from the Milligan bookstore. This has been Daniel Peacock reporting for Stampede TV.
That looks like a great book.
Yeah, I hope to get that for my coffee table someday.
And that is all the time we have for this special homecoming edition of Stampede TV.
For latest news information, visit our website at milliganstampede.com.
You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Be sure to use the hashtag #HeardThat.
And if you haven't already, check out the special homecoming print edition of the Stampede in newsstands around campus.
Thanks so much for watching. I'm Alyssa Boyer.
And I'm Jacob Smith. Have a great rest of your day. Join us again for our next Stampede TV on Friday, November 6th.